How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG, which had a strong day inside of the market. We know we saw a lot of volatility. A lot of stocks were pulling back, but BBIG did the opposite. And just before I started recording this video, I saw inside of the after hours, BBIG is on its way to $6. All right, let's go. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. I want to make sure you're prepared. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $5.19, being up 27.52%. On the low, it tested $4.58, and then on the high, testing $5.49. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 272.576 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 69.35 million shares. So when you get this kind of volume coming into BBIG and that buying pressure, you're going to see price action like this. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, we are at 78.90. So we are in that overbought territory. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we have strength above the 21-day EMA as well as for the 50-day, the 200-day, and the 100-day. So we are continuing to look technically strong. We are continuing to do higher lows, and you guys know how much I like this. But one thing I want to bring to your attention, we do have a gap here. We ended up gapping up, and you know gaps do get filled. But another thing that I want to talk about, we also have another gap that we need to fill to the upside, which is right here around the high $5.80 range. I would much rather us fill this gap in so we can make that move and get into the $6 area. But if we do end up having a pullback to fill in this gap, that is still not bad because it still gives us price action above the 200-day, which we could still have buyers coming into the stock. But like I said, most preferably, I'd rather us fill the gap to the upside first and make that move to push past 6, because we also have another gap up here that we can fill in where it goes all the way up here to around $7.49. So that's why I'm saying things continue to get interesting, but again, we cannot ignore the fact that it is in the overbought territory. There is going to be some profit taking at some point. So I just want to make sure that you have a strategy so you can protect yourself. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for BBIG. So for the dark pool short volume ratio, it's at 55.53%. And then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 73.216 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 0, updated 18 minutes ago. And for the short borrow free rate, it's saying it's not available. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 13th, it was at 55.21. And then for the close of the 14th, being at 55.53. So one thing that is very clear, BBIG does have short squeeze potential, and we can notice this right away from the volatility in the price action. So this is why I'm saying if we have continued volume and buying pressure coming into the stock, this is why you can see it continue its run. So now let's go into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we can see here on the inflow, it's at 269, and then on the outflow, it's at 275. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 7.83. On the medium, it was 200, and then on the small, it was 61.96. So keep in mind these numbers are in the millions. And then when we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 5.87, and then for the medium it was 206, and then for the small it was 63.04. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see here for today, January the 18th, having that inflow of 1,961.43, and we also could see this on the 14th as well. Again, BBIG has been looking really good. Now, when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders, which tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the large, though, which potentially could represent institutions, funds, and whales and so forth, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, 290.97%. We are not surprised about this because we know there's a lot of traders going in and out of this play. This stock is extremely volatile, and let's be honest here, it was a volatile time inside of the market. Many stocks were pulling back. So when you're seeing a stock run up, of course people are going to be locking in profits and so forth. But the great thing about it is this stock has been seeing so much buying pressure, it really doesn't matter, because if this momentum continues and having all of this volume, it's going to continue to make those moves, and that's why we're seeing this momentum continue into the after hours. Now, let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for BBIG in regards to the price action, what I was talking about inside of the technical analysis, we have a gap to the upside and we also have a gap to the downside. Most preferably, I want to see us fill those gaps to the upside. So we want to look forward to it filling that gap at $5.87, which it did inside of the after hours. And there also is another gap that we need to fill that's around $7.50. So this is why I'm saying going into tomorrow, and when the market does open, I want to see us get past 6 and let's fill in that gap right in the $7 range. I don't think that's too much to ask. As far as if we do end up having a pullback, like I was saying inside of the technicals, as long as we have strength above that 200 day, I think we're going to be good. Because if you take a look at the price action in the past, we've had some sharp pullbacks, but we've been able to bounce back from them. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, you can see this play does continue to have short squeeze potential, and that's part of the reasons why there's a lot of volatility. And this is why I'm emphasizing that you do your homework and you do your due diligence. Know what your entry is going to be, know what your exit is going to be. When I was talking about BBIG, I was saying the risk to reward ratio, if you decide to load up when it was in the low $2 range, is not that bad whatsoever. So I know many of you who are watching this video right now should be up more than 100% on your investment, and this is where you need to start making decisions. When are you planning to sell? Do not just hold on to a stock and say, well, you know what, I'm just going to keep watching it go up, and then after I'm going to sell when I feel the time is right. That is the wrong way to go about doing things. At the bare minimum, get out your initial investment, so just in case the stock does go to zero, you will not lose any money whatsoever. Of course, you don't have to do this. This is not financial advice, but at the same time, how would you feel if you're inside of a stock, you see it run up, you're up 100, 200, 300%, and then all of a sudden you're down in the play? It's not a good feeling whatsoever, and I know many of you give me so many stories of what you've gone through, and this is why I always emphasize that you want to protect your profits. You want to have a game plan. You want to have a strategy when it comes to these particular kinds of plays. And since the stock has been running up quite a bit, I just want to make sure that is something that you're thinking about. And you also have to take into consideration the market conditions. Many people are taking their profits. Many people are seeing, oh, things are getting volatile. Interest rates are becoming a concern. Then again, this is why you have to say to yourself and be realistic in regards to what your goals are and what you're looking to get out of the stock. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see what BBIG does going into tomorrow.